let's go ahead and get into this game. Like we said, we got the W, and we went through some keys to success last week. Let's recap some of those. Will, what was one of your keys to success, and did we accomplish that?
Yeah. So my keys we did pretty well on. So my very first one that I'll talk about is having some fast plays with Sam Howell. I was really concerned with making him comfortable in his first preseason game as a starter, and I thought they accomplished that. I thought that he showed that he knew where to take the ball when it needed to, including the two plays that I loved were the two plays he threw the ball out of bounds.
Yeah,
It's like it's preseason. He could be forcing it. Really doesn't matter. But it just shows that he understands the bigger parts of the game, and I really enjoyed seeing that. He showed me that this game is not too fast for him. It's he had a lot of poise. So I love that they found fast plays, easy stuff that he could get to and get his throw off, and he did well.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Poise. That's what I get. Everybody, for a while, we've all been saying moxie, this and that. There was a lot of poise in that game. Like you said, he took what the defense gave him. He didn't do too much. And even on that touchdown, you could see him, like when the camera cuts to him, he starts getting excited, and then he kind of calms himself down. It's like, I've been here before. And I love that. I love that. It's like we haven't done anything yet. But we'll get into that because I definitely want to touch on my guy. You know how we're doing today. My first one was energy. And honestly, I think this is a tale of kind of two parts to this. We started off flat, in my opinion. On offense, I thought we started off like we had a couple decent plays. The first play of the game, Leno gives up, that blocks the edge and shuts down the run play. But obviously, we're able to get some passes going, and Sam, started off well. But once we got that penalty, which was on the drop pass, we also got the holding. We got behind the chains. We tried the run play. We just got deflated. And then we give them the ball, and then they march all the way down the field. And technically, if you really go back and look at that tape, if they would have gone and challenged that second down run, that could have been potentially a touchdown. Yeah, without a doubt. So I didn't think the energy really came until the goal line stand. Once they stopped it, and then you saw Montez Sweat tackle in the backfield, take his helmet off, run to the sideline. That's when you started to see things change. Maybe not necessarily for the offense, because in that second drive, as you saw, it was a struggle. Mind you, we were back in our own, end zone. But at the same time, we just looked a little flustered, in my opinion. Hey, fellas, Ab is watching. What's going on, Ab?
Nice. Hey, Ab.
Yeah, but so we're talking about our keys to success. Energy was my first one. I think eventually, midway through, when Sam got rolling, when Jacoby Brissett came in there, we were clicking. That defense was shutting them down. At one point in this ball game, it's 17-2, and we were really kind of shutting it down. Then obviously we let the rest of the backups and the second and third team get in, and they came back in there. And that's where the energy fell off again, because in the middle we were good, beginning and the end. It's a struggle for me. So that was mine. But where else did you go with your keys? Spin it again. Will, you here?
So I'm gonna go with a negative out there, and this may surprise you a little bit. So I'm going to talk about Percy Butler. Yeah. Am I coming through good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk about Percy Butler because I think it was interesting. I was watching him and I was looking to see him make some plays. And while he had the interception and people could say, hey, look at that, look at the rise he's making, I'm actually going to go the opposite ways and say I didn't see him flash in the same way that I saw Jeremy Reeves flash out there.
Yes.
And so, he got the interception out there, but there was Jeremy Reeves and then the other corner, and I don't want to spoil my positives out there, though. But Percy Butler, I didn't see him show as much as I'm hoping to this preseason. So I think he's still got some stuff to work on to make that impact. So he was like one of my keys to success. I didn't really see it from him.
Oh yeah. Oh I get that. Ben said, sounds like a guy named Dan is messing with the Wi-Fi again. Yes, he's still trying to get rid of us. Yeah, no, I get that. And look, I'm gonna not piggyback on defense, but piggyback on the negative because my second thing was attention to detail. Why was we have EB coming in here? We've heard all off season how he's been really getting on the guys and he ran the play, even if it was successful. If it wasn't done the right way, he wants it run again. So, in my opinion, the things that I'm thinking, attention to detail means, penalties, turnovers, smart football. Obviously, it's the first preseason game, so you're going to get a couple, you're going to get stuff, and you want stuff so that you can correct it. You have something to go back and look at. But what was the big thing I harped on last year? Third downs. We were 3 of 11 on third downs. Penalties were huge. 7 of 55 for penalties, including that holding by Wiley in the end zone that caused the safety. It's mental stuff. We can't do those type of things. And then, obviously, the 2 interceptions. Mind you, they were from the backup quarterbacks, one from Jacoby and one from Fromm. But still, we got to be clean. We got to be clean. And again, like I said, this is all stuff that we can work on. And it's stuff that you can point out on the tape and say, hey, now what did you see here? Let's fix that. And I'm good with that. But at the same time, we are expecting to be a lot different. The third down percentage, the penalties, the stupid interceptions, these are the type of things that hurt us last year. So these are the things that I think we have to nip in the bud. At the end of the day, you don't want to see the penalties, the interceptions, things like that. But like I said, it is learning. It's stuff that we can learn from. So I'm good with it, but we still need to focus on attention to detail before we get to game one.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we talked all about last year. We can't overcome our mistakes, and you saw some of that. Let me tell you something. I tell you how I don't watch the second half of preseason. I had no idea Jake Fromm threw an interception.
Yep.
I just learned that tonight.
Yeah,
had no idea. So thank you for informing me of that. I actually don't give Jacoby any. I don't rip on him about his interception. I think he's got enough veteran moxie that in the regular season he's not going to pull a Carson Wentz and throw that. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, seeing that we can talk when we get to our negatives about what offensive lineman did not have a good debut. But I want to talk about one that did, because my last keys to success was the offensive line being physical, finally getting a chance to really hit someone other than their teammates. And we've got a battle at left guard, and the guy who got to play was pretty impressive. I actually heard a lot of praise for both of our guards, Chris Paul on the left side and Sam Cosmi on the right. It was a lot of praise for these guys, saying, "Hey, our guards look good." As there was the other side that was having some struggles. So kudos to Chris Paul and getting the first opportunity. I mean, we've heard from the defensive linemen last year and this year. They're like, dude, this man's strong. He's tough to go up against. And so there could be something there. And so he did a really good job in his first opportunity. He played really well against Dallas, and then he's just played really well here in this first preseason game. So good for him for seizing the moment.
Yeah, definitely. And I honestly, for one, I talked about him last week. He's somebody that I want to see take this opportunity and push it. At the very least, like push the number one. I like that you said we have a battle there. That's what we want. Iron sharpens iron. Let these guys push each other. And if Chris Paul is the guy for the job, I go back to the first play. I said where Leno let the edge guy come in and make the tackle. Chris Paul had the seal. He had it sealed there. So if Leno was able to push this guy out, there's a hole right over there on that left side. But obviously one missed block can be the difference on the play. So I'm excited to see what Chris Paul brings. As far as my last thing that I thought, and I know a lot of mine are more vague and not necessarily onto players, but I think this was so key, and it's fan support. And I'm going to say something. I thought we did have fan support, but you know who was the biggest fan in that game? Josh Harris. That's what I'm talking about. Josh Harris was in the stands talking to the fans, talking to the media. The best thing about this game, I think it was News 4 at the end of the game, was interviewing JP Finley. JP Finley was outside the locker room talking this and that. And he looks back and he says, I think that's Josh Harris over there. I think I'm going to try to get an interview, right? They kind of cut away for a bit, and he comes back, and Harris obliges, comes over there and has an impromptu interview in the first preseason game, and it's not even at home. Come on, Will. We couldn't even talk to Dan. We didn't want to talk to Dan. And Josh Harris is giving interviews to people on the sidelines, people in the stands, and Art Jenkins Finley, Logan Paulson. And there's one huge thing, and I know I might be spilling into my positives, but I'm so excited because when I talk about fan support, we all know what our fans are like. We all know where we go and how excited we get. But when you have an owner that has that same kind of excitement, and he's really trying to build this community. When he was asked, he was told both times, he said, how do you feel that your team on the first game, how do you feel they're doing? He said, well, first of all, this is not my team. This is the city's team. And I'm really looking forward to doing, to helping us win and do this and that, but we got a long way to go. Woo! You passed my test, Josh. Come on, baby. I love it. So for me, it started there. Then on top of that, I said we need to travel, and we did. Cleveland, it was right. It had Commanders fans in there that went. I told you that, Kat and I had discussed it. So that for me is huge. That energy is what I wanted for the full game. Now we got it towards the middle, but that right there, I think, is so huge. Coming off what we came from, that is big for me. So I love it.
Oh, my gosh. It was a breath of fresh air to see your owners sitting there wearing a raincoat and a hat watching the team play. Not up in a fancy, dry suite, in a suit the way the previous owner would have been. So I mean, he is truly a man of the people, and we can tell. Hey, Ben, you got a great question. We are definitely going to get to it. We'll do it right in between our game recap and then go into joint practice, because it is a great thought process that Nate may even want to jump in on too. See what his thoughts are. But yeah, no, that was such a welcome sight. I'm with you, man. That was so cool to see. I'm like this. Like we're so fortunate right now to have these guys.
Right. Again, it's the first preseason game, pump your brakes for all this other stuff. But I'm sorry, that is something that I will get excited about, even more than my quarterback Sam Howell being the starter and all that stuff. Because to been through what we've been through, you go from Jack Cook, which was our darling. Everybody loved this man. Then you go to Dan Snyder, who everybody literally loathed, to Josh Harris. It's just their first couple games, but still, it's a good step. It's a good step in the right direction.
Absolutely. Dun, 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 dun.
Let's go. The Washington Commanders. There it is.